Hello everybody, welcome to today's session as part of the Cambridge Live experience about warmer activities in the socially distanced classroom so that you can welcome your primary and secondary learners back to the classroom. My name is Miranda Hamilton. I work as exam support manager for the schools team. Now presenting this session we have Claire Ross. Claire is an experienced teacher, teacher trainer and materials writer. Like most of you, we're working from home, but we're aiming to give you the best experience we can. We're relying on home Wi-Fi, so please bear with us if we have any issues. Before we start, a few suggestions. We recommend headphones to get the better quality audio and so you can hear better. Try not to have anything else running, especially Skype, so switch off any other programs if you can. Don't worry if the picture is a bit blurry. At first, that's the live streaming and it should improve. During the webinar, you'll need to be able to use the chat box on the right of the screen. Please use the Q&A box at the bottom for any questions that you may have for our presenter. If it's something we can answer straight away, we'll type an answer to you and we'll keep some questions for the Q&A at the end. So please don't worry if your question isn't answered straight away. We might ask you to use the chat box for polls or activities during the session. So without further ado, let's get started. Over to you, Claire.
All right, thank you very much, Miranda, and a very warm welcome to all of you. I can see we've got people joining from all over the world, so thanks for being with us, and I hope you enjoy the next 30 minutes. So as Miranda said, this is the title of my session. We're looking at fun warmers for the socially distanced classroom. And this is what I'm aiming to do today. So mainly I'll be demonstrating some energising and motivating warmers that you can use in your classrooms to get learners talking and working together safely. I've put here for socially distanced classrooms because this is a big issue at the moment, but if you're still working online, they work very well online too, and I'll be showing you how that happens, of course, today. I'll be showing you some options for differentiation as well if you need to add some challenge or support for your learners, and I'll be telling you where you can find these warmers and lots of other ones too. So there is a free downloadable booklet that you'll be able to access, and links to that will come later. So there is our audience participation required today, and we're going to start off with this poll. So you should be able to see this on your screen now. Just read through the options of which of these things concerns you most at the moment. So please choose one of the options and click on the poll. So is it working together safely? Is it making your classes fun and engaging? Or is it about inclusion and involvement? If it's something else, somebody said actually all day. Yes, I feel the same. Maybe it's something else, and if so, you can pop that in the chat as well. I'm wondering if we can see the results from that poll. There we go. All right. Okay, interesting. So most of you, 47%, how can I make my classes fun and engaging? All right, and then a considerable proportion as well is about inclusion, involvement, and also working together safely. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about some of these things before I move to the activities. And let's start with this first one, working together safely. So you might be in schools with bubbling or social distancing at the moment, wondering how you can make your English classes safe. Can we still do group work? And I want to talk about how we considered these things when we were putting the activity booklet together. So the activities are based around learners working together, group work within social bubbles. Group work's so important for language learning, isn't it? We just couldn't manage to do these warmers without having children working together. So learners stay where they are in their classroom. That means they work with the same partners, and there's no need for physical movement around the classroom. So all of the activities I'll be doing work like this, of course, online. Another issue about safety is materials, of course. I was watching a session this morning with Delia Kidd about social distanced classrooms, and she was looking at ways to use materials safely. And that's an issue in these activities too. So in the ones I'll be demonstrating, there's minimal materials. It's only handled by the teacher. This means that learners use their own materials, so their own notebook, pens and pencils, or whatever you have set up in your school. I know some schools have some resources at school that only the children can use there, or only the group can use there. This means there's no need for sharing or passing round of any materials in these activities. And second point about making your classes fun and engaging. Well, the warmers we've chosen are designed to do just this. We can still have fun in a socially distanced classroom, as I'm sure many of you are already discovering, and also online as well. How can we do this? Well, I thought about engagement and motivation here. So in all of these activities, children are working together safely. There's some gamification. So the activities are about warming up and reviewing language, but in a fun way, sometimes with a bit of healthy competition as well. There is some challenge. So we are expecting children to use some English relevant to their language level, but the risk is low. And I think that's really important in these uncertain times. So they're mainly based around activating and sharing what the learners already know. So they're all fun vocab review activities, not learning new things with these warmers. They are based on familiar activities and processes. I mean, you will be able to judge for yourselves when you look at the booklet and choose the ones that are most familiar to your learners. There are clear examples shown as well, so you can do a demonstration. I think particularly important when you're working online, but also in a socially distanced classroom. And this means you can start off your classes in a fun and engaging and positive way. We're going to move to the activities now. And just to let you know, I'm going to give you the link for this later. They're all from a booklet, which is downloadable from the Cambridge website. They're divided into 3 levels, so primary, lower secondary and upper secondary. And I will be demonstrating hopefully 2 from each level. And I'll be talking also about how to differentiate. So that was one of the options that I put on the poll just now, is how to include and involve all learners. And you can differentiate all of these activities if you want to add a bit of challenge or extra support. And as I said, they're suitable for face-to-face, socially distanced, or online classes. Oh, and I've just seen someone there saying hello from Lebanon. So a special hello to Sarah, because that's where I live as well. But everyone is very welcome, of course, wherever you are in the world. All right, so let's start with the primary activities. So these are from pre-A1 to A2. So they are looking at vocabulary that children know at this level, nice, simple vocabulary. And the first one is virtual ball games. Now, when we were writing the booklet, we were thinking about what's fun for primary, and most of the fun things involve running around, moving, playing games, singing, lots of noise, and things that aren't really allowed in the socially distanced classroom. But we have a solution, and that is using virtual balls. So we're not throwing actual balls around the classroom, but you can throw a pretend ball. You can use the same activities as you'd use when using your ball game in the classroom, and it helps to review vocabulary. So let me give you an example. I'm going to start with my ball here. You can't see it because it's a virtual ball, but it's a very heavy ball. All right, so I'm going to throw it to one of you. Okay, Mohammed, are you ready? You're going to catch the ball. Ready? Catch. Okay, and then Mohammed will catch the ball. It's very heavy. So we practice doing this first of all around the classroom so the children get used to the idea, making eye contact, maybe saying names as they throw the ball. The ball can be heavy, it can become light, it can be a ball that goes a bit crazy, maybe somebody drops the ball, lots of fun. And then we add in the language element. So you could do, for example, colours. So colours, ready everyone, red. Okay, catch Muhammad, Muhammad catches it and says his colour green, and we go around until we've reviewed all the colours. Or you might add in a little bit more challenge with some language structures, for example, with names or adjectives, with I like this, or my favourite something is. You could do question and answer, everything works. And it works online too, as you can see. The only thing is you can't make eye contact because it looks like I'm looking at all of you. So you do need to say names when you're doing it online, but it does really work. I've done this in an online class. Throw the ball, someone catches it, lots of fun. All right, the next one for primary level is Kim's game. Now, I won't deny there are some old favourites in here, so you will recognise some of these activities, but hopefully you'll see that we've had a good think about them and reworked them so that they're going to be useful and fun and safe in our socially distanced classrooms. So Kim's game is a memory game, and here there are 10 pictures, and you would choose pictures that children have been looking at in class. So you might choose a vocabulary set. Mine are quite random. If you can't see all the 10 pictures now, then try moving the chat box around so you can uncover them. You can drag and drop the chat box. All right, so I'm going to cover up the pictures now. Okay, and I'm taking one of the pictures away, and I want you to type in the chat which picture I've taken away. All right, what's missing? Can you type it in the chat? And again, move around. Oh, Irene wins. Irene wins the piano. Very good. Well done. Okay, and as I say, you can use this with a vocabulary set to review whatever children have been working on. Again, simple vocabulary, something that's safe, something that they've done before, and it's fun for them. So here are the instructions. Show the 10 objects, hide them, remove one, and say what's missing. And you can do this again and again. Depending on your classroom, you might use real objects, but again, be careful, make sure it's safe, that all the children can see all the objects. If you've got a screen, you could project onto that. And of course, online, you can do it just the way I did it, or maybe unshare your screen, take one of the objects off your PowerPoint, reshare your screen, and then you don't need to prepare the PowerPoint the way I did with one missing and another missing. You can do it in class. And differentiation, we've got how many items can you remember? So you could see if they can remember 2, 3, 4, all the items. For extra support, children can work together for this one. All right, and a nice example from Teresa there saying, I just click the images off and on while the students close their eyes or turn around. Yeah, that's a really good idea as well. You can do that online too, just say close your eyes, and you can see who's closing your eyes, or you can hide your screen. All right, so those were our primary ones. Now, somebody put a comment in earlier saying, is there anything for adults? I've used quite a lot of these activities with adults as well. We've chosen these to match the levels. So you would go through and look and find activities that you think would work well with your students. But the ones we've chosen do take into consideration the age and also the language level. So let's move up a notch. So looking at our lower secondary now, which is around about A2 to B1 level. And our first activity here is pictograms. So pictures to represent in some way different words. So here I've got 4 pictures. Again, if any of them are covered up with chat box or the bar on Zoom, you can drag that around so you can see. And I'd like you to type into the chat box what you can see. So what's this thing that you can see here. It's made of snow. It's a snowman, okay? Or type those words into the chat. Super, all right. And the next stage of it, I know some of you have already got there, is to take the first letter of each word, and then you can spell out the secret word. So we've got that snowman. So we've got S. Here we've got, yeah, I can see you got it now. We've got an octopus, which is O. Here we've got a fork for fur, and an alien. And our secret word, sofa. So well done to all of you that got that. I've used these pictures from the flashcards that Cambridge have, or you could use your own pictures. Now, how does it work in class? Well, you could get your students to choose a word or give them a word. They think of a picture for each letter. They draw the pictures. They hold them up. So using their own paper or their own exercise book, they need to make them quite big so that other people in their little group can see, and then everyone can guess the words. So how to add challenge, get them to choose their own words. How to add support is either give them the topic or give them a choice of words perhaps, or even get them working in pairs. I think what we need to be careful with here is sometimes there are letters that it's difficult to think of things to draw, like I is one I always struggle with, for example, Y. So try to choose words that they can easily think of and pictures for, although children are creative. And people are writing ice cream in there. I wonder, is that a good word? I wonder, to use the letters from ice cream, that's quite a good one. Yeah. Oh no, that's words beginning with I. Absolutely. There you go. Ice cream and igloo. There you go. I just couldn't think of those for a moment. And of course, online, you can use the paper. Children can use paper, or they can use a mini whiteboard, which, you know, a piece of A4 paper inside a plastic sleeve. And children can write on that in felt tip pen, and then it just wipes off with a tissue. So that is our first activity for this level. Let's move to the next one. Think of things that are. So over to you. Think of things that are green. So please type in the chat box as many things as you can think of that are green. Okay. Plants, turtles, grass, frog, very good. Aliens, nice. Okay, keep them coming. Herbs, all right. Pears, peas, lots of vegetables. Okay, broccoli, green tea, I like it. All right, I'm going to show you my things now. Let's see if you manage to guess any of them. Here are my things. I've thought of 5 things. So frog, somebody definitely got that. Leaves, I think you got that too. Somebody put broccoli. I'm not sure that anyone put eyes, so I get 1 point. And I don't think anyone, oh, Florina put Brazil just at the last minute, so I don't get a point for that. So I get 1 point because nobody guessed just one of my words, which was eyes. Oh, that's students' hair, right? So kids can be really, really creative here. It's lots and lots of fun. How does it work with a class? Well, you can give each group a topic. So each social bubble gets their topic. For example, group A, think of things that are green. Group B, things that are red. Group C, things that are blue, for example. They have time to think of and write their 5 things. And then, starting with group A, the other groups take it in turns to guess what group A's words were. So group A, green things. So you would say, okay, right, group B, think of something that's green. And they would say a word, and then group A would say if they have it or not. They have to listen carefully. Then group C would say something green. Group A are listening. Did anyone say our word? So as B and C are guessing, the children in group A are listening, looking at their list and ticking them off. And then you would repeat that for groups B, C as well. All right, and I've just seen a comment from someone, it's disappeared, but saying they get a point for every word and 2 points for unique words. So that's a lovely way to differentiate it. And you can choose different topics, some other good ones. You know, you might do animals, things you find in a house, things you can do at the weekend, describing words, you know, whatever your children have been studying that they can then recycle in this fun way. For extra challenge, you can think of 10 things. And for extra support, maybe give them a bit of thinking time before the stage where they guess their other groups. Because if you think about it, they've had time to think of their own things. And then in the second stage, it's quite a quick thinking on the spot, thinking about another topic of another group. So you could add in some thinking time there as well so that they're prepared. And online, you could do it the way we've done it, or you know, for the first stage, put them in breakout rooms so they agree together their words. All right, and yeah, as Chinzia said there, we can use breakout rooms on Zoom. Okay, let's move to, wow, the third section. So this is our upper secondary. So we're moving up now a bit in terms of challenge, in terms of what we're expecting from the children, but we're still focusing on reviewing things that they already know. So we're just warming and reviewing, if you remember, but we are expecting more in terms of careful listening and production of language now as well. So let's start with this one, alphabet stories. So stage 1, children brainstorm words beginning with different letters of the alphabet. So I'm going to start with these 4. Please, could you write any words you like into the chat, beginning with these letters? And I'd like some really unusual words, please, because your English is excellent. So arrow, I like that one. Amphibian, there we go. Okay, let's have some B, C and D words. Daisy, very nice. Axe, okay, that would be an interesting story. Okay, courage, great. So good to get some abstract nouns in there as well. You can encourage your children to put more unusual words in if they are more confident. All right, so bucolic, goodness me, I'd love to see that story. All right, so what are we going to do with these? Well, I've chosen these 4 examples and we're going to put them together to make a story. So students are going to take it in turns to tell a story, and it's going to be a story that works together as a group. So they have to include the A word in the first sentence and the B word in the next sentence. So they include all these words in the story as they go along. It should try to continue logically. It's going to be quite silly and random, especially if we've got words like bucolic and dandelions in there. But the grammar should be correct. That's the aim. So it's testing those structural skills for children. And they can choose to include more than one word in a sentence if they wish. Let's see an example of that. So here's student 1. Once there was a very affectionate cat, that's our A word, who lived with a baron, our B word. And then student 2, the cat's favourite food was sardines and chocolate, so C. And then student 3 moves on to the D word. And as you can see, it can get really creative, and I can see even more creative ideas coming from you. All right, so adding challenge, I spoke about this earlier. You could get groups to write the story if you want to extend this. Could take quite a while if you do that. And you could give students the opportunity to pass their turn if they can't think of a sentence. Online, you can do it as we've done it, and they write their story into a shared document. Yes, hi Miranda.
Very quickly, we've got about 7 minutes before the end, and we would like a little bit of Q&A. So I'm just wondering whether or not we can start to move on so that we can get some questions in. So
sure. All right. So I'll skip through the next activity, which you'll know is 2 true, 1 false, but adapted.
Oh, good activity.
Download the booklet to get to that one. And I'll tell you where the activities are. So you can download them from this link. As I said, there's 3 levels, 21 activities in total. So you've seen just a few of them now. They're easily differentiated, and you can use them face-to-face in a socially distanced classroom, online. I hope there will be activities that you will want to use again, you know, when times return to normal. They really will work at any time. So I hope you'll find some of your old favourites done in a slightly different way, and also some new favourites to discover as well. Okay, so that's all from me. So whatever situation you're in, if you're returning to school at the moment, if you're already at school, if you're in the middle of the school year, I hope you can find something here to help you and your children have fun, so that they're all engaged, so that they're working together safely and everybody is involved and happy in these uncertain times. All right, Miranda, how's that? We have a bit of time for questions now, I think. Okay, Miranda, do you want me to?
So I think Miranda's having some issues with Zoom. So I don't know whether you're able to open the Q&A chat box, and you'll be able to see lots of amazing questions from the presenters and the attendees.
Yeah, I can see them. Okay.
The meantime,
yep, I'm just reading through them now.
Oh, great. Yeah, there's lots of amazing questions, which is really good.
Yeah, I've got a question here from Sunita. Please share that somewhere teamwork is involved and individual. I mean, teamwork is involved in all of these, I would say, Sunita. And a lot of them involve some group preparation time as well, but you could have some individual preparation time in there. So I think a lot of them can be adapted in that way. When I've talked about differentiation, I've said maybe here pairs. So when they're planned for an individual moment, you could change that into a pair work. So I think you'll find both in there. And Sophia here, with no movement, what about students that need to move around a lot? So they're not planned into these activities, Sophia, but I think as teachers, you know, I would leave that to you and your classes and whatever the social distancing and safety activities rules are in your institution. So I think there's still opportunities to get up and stand up and move your body, even if you're not moving around the classroom and mixing with different groups. One of the activities that's in there for primary is animal mimes. So that does involve miming out animal movements and making animal noises. So that's an example that includes that one. And let's see.
Can you hear me, Claire?
Yes, I can.
Oh, I've come back to life again.
Oh, great.
I've got one, my Zoom went down. I've got one question here, which was, how would you recommend involving learners if you've got some of your learners in class? Have you got any ideas, or would you like to mull over that and perhaps we can post an answer on that one?
I actually missed that, Miranda, but I think some of the learners are in class and some of them are online, I think is what you said.
How would you support those learners?
I think, I mean, really interesting situation. I know some of you are doing this already, and I've spoken to teachers who have a screen in the classroom where they've got the learners at home, if you like, who might be self-isolating on the Zoom that's happening in class. And it's quite good to have those learners, for example, as a group, and then you have your social bubbles as a group, and you can still do those group activities. So group A is the learners online, but everybody can hear and see them. So in any of these activities, you know, whether it's the stories or the think of 5 things, those children can still be involved. Even with the virtual ball games, you know, you've got to keep your eyes on the screen carefully and listen. Somebody might be throwing the virtual ball to you. So that's how I would suggest doing that. I'm sure there's other ways too, and I'd love to hear about them from others.
Okay, so something else was a number of people have asked about supporting young adult learners. Do you believe that that the ideas you've talked about today can be nicely adapted for an older learner?
I think definitely, and as I said earlier, I have used quite a lot of these with adults, and not necessarily just young adults, you know, older adults as well. But I would say go with, you know your learners best. Have a look through and think about their level and think about, is this age appropriate for them? You know, maybe not the animal mimes one, but maybe, I don't know, you know your learners better. But I think absolutely these can be used or adapted to be used with adults.
Yeah, that's really helpful. So although the booklet says that it's aimed at primary and up to secondary, look at the booklet and use them and find what's going to work for you. So yeah, they're not just, they can be adapted.
They can be adapted. So, you know, even if you're teaching upper secondary, have a look through the primary and lower secondary as well. You might find ones there that you want to add a bit of challenge to. So look at the tips for differentiation, and you could make them a bit more challenging if you want to. But kids of all ages would enjoy them, I think.
That's lovely. Well, we've reached 12:30, and Claire, there was so much more to say. So
I know.
Sorry I had to stop you, but the booklet is absolutely fantastic, everybody. So I would really recommend that you go to the website, download it, and take a look and see what works for your class. There's some fabulous ideas. So thank you so much, Claire, for joining us. It's been brilliant.
Thank you, Miranda. Good luck, everyone. Enjoy the activities.
Thank you. Bye-bye.